Welcome back to Crypto Unlocked. I'm your host, Crypto Darrell, and Bitcoin is currently sitting just under 109,000. And most people are watching it from the sidelines right now, wondering when the big dip's going to happen, or this is just trading sideways, as they say. But if you've been in the game long enough, or if you've been paying attention, you already know what this is. This isn't stagnation. This is pressure coiling. We are not at a pause. We are in a loading zone right now. In this moment, July 2025 could very well be the final time frame the average person sees five-figure Bitcoin on any public exchange. Most people still think they have time. They think the price will magically crash back to 85,000 so they can buy in safely. They're waiting for the dip that will never come. While smart money continues to vacuum up supply, this isn't a time to hesitate. This is a time to execute. Because from what I'm seeing across the chart, across ETF flows, on-chain movements, and macro signals, July isn't just another month. It might be the last discount we ever get. And if you're not stacking sats now, you're going to be wishing that you did when it flies past 140,000. Everybody will be priced out. Let's start with what the chart is telling us right now. We've got a clear structure forming, a bullish flag off the local high. After that huge rally earlier this year, we cooled off briefly. We pulled back to 106K and most people panicked. What happened next? Bitcoin held the level. Not only did it hold, but it bounced hard. We are ranging tightly between 107K and 109K, building a staircase pattern of higher lows, and above us is the 112,000 resistance level. That's the ceiling. That's the level that once broken opens the door to a minimum 25% upside, moving to 140,000 or more. And you know how Bitcoin moves. It doesn't just inch up slowly. When it's ready, it erupts. The question isn't whether we'll move, it's whether you'll be on the rocket or watching it leave the platform with bags filled or bags empty. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the biggest names in finance are not watching, they're buying. Spot Bitcoin ETFs like BlackRock's IBIT, Fidelity's FBTC, and others have been hoovering up the supply faster than miners can even produce it. And this is after the halving, after the miners saw their reward slash from 900 BTC per day down to 450. Let me say that again, 450 Bitcoin enter the system every single day. And ETFs are absorbing thousands. The imbalance is clear. The demand is outpacing supply every single day. And this isn't emotional buying. This isn't speculative degens aping in. This is cold, calculated accumulations from institutions managing billions in assets. When that kind of capital rotates into Bitcoin, it doesn't sell at 120K. It doesn't flip at 130,000. It holds and locks it up for years, if not decades. That's the quiet part no one's talking about. While retail sits on the sidelines asking, should I wait for the dip? Institutional capital is executing million-dollar buys on a daily schedule. And they're not slowing down. And it's not just ETFs. Governments are now entering the chat. Texas and Arizona have already started formal processes to explore or build Bitcoin reserves. The U.S. federal government whispered reports that certain branches are strategizing long-term BTC holdings as a part of the future digital infrastructure planning. El Salvador has already made their move years ago. And guess what? They're in profit, heavy profit. The narrative that Bitcoin is too volatile or too risky is being dismantled in real time. Not with opinion, not with speculation, but with state-level conviction. Strategic reserves mean one thing: permanent supply removal. That Bitcoin isn't coming back to exchanges. It's going into cold storages, locked up for decades, representing financial sovereignty on a national level. If a country is willing to sit on it for decades, what excuse do you really have to wait for another dip? Now let's shift gears real quick. Let's talk about what really matters for most people watching this: accessibility. Because here's the reality. Most people watching this don't own a full Bitcoin, and most never will. But that's not the goal anymore. The real play is stacking sats, or Satoshis. One Bitcoin equals 100 million Satoshis. That means every dollar you put into Bitcoin Every $5, every $20 is buying you a fraction of the scarcest asset on earth. When you shift your mindset from I need a whole Bitcoin to I need to stack as many sats as possible, you unlock the real power of Bitcoin. You need to stop trying to time the market and start focusing on time in the market rather than out the market. You don't need to throw 50,000 at a Bitcoin. You just need to be consistent, ready, relentless, and steady with your investments, because a day is coming when owning 100,000 sats will mean something. Maybe even owning 10,000 sats will mean something. Don't measure your wealth in dollars anymore. Measure it in sats. Because when this asset becomes the global standard, it won't matter what price you bought in at. It'll only matter that you were in early enough to get in. Look at the macro picture. Inflation isn't going away. Fiat currencies around the world are devaluing. Central banks are caught in between a rock and a hard place: cut rates and fuel inflation, or raise rates and nuke the economy. Either way, faith in traditional money is eroding. Meanwhile, Bitcoin remains untouched, uncensorable, non-inflationary, and unlike gold, it's programmable, divisible, and instantly transferable. That's not just useful, that's unstoppable. The game is shifting. Every sat you stack is a brick in your escape route from the broken system that we're currently in. Let's talk urgency. We've got a major macro catalyst coming up July 22nd, when key U.S. financial data will be released. The CPI print, rate guidance, bond market sentiment, all eyes will be on that. And if the numbers hint at economic weakness or rate cuts, that could be the catalyst to send Bitcoin surging well past $112,000. Once that happens, the liftoff is inevitable. When Bitcoin moves, it doesn't ask permission. It doesn't wait for you to get paid on Friday. It doesn't care if you were planning to buy the dip. It just runs, and once it's gone, it's gone. We've seen this movie before in 2017, 2020, and 2021. Happens fast, and it never gives you a second chance. That's why stacking sats matters more now than ever. You're not just buying digital money. You're buying your place in the new financial system, a system that doesn't rely on debt, on gatekeepers, or even fake currency such as fiat, a system that rewards those who prepare early and punishes those who wait too long. You don't need to be rich to win. You just need discipline. You need to be consistent. You need to stack sats like your future depends on it, because in many ways, it actually does. So if you're listening to this right now and you haven't started stacking, ask yourself, what are you waiting for? Perfect conditions, a mystical dip that may never come, or are you going to just recognize that this is the next big phase, when wealth is quietly transferred from those who don't act to the people who do act? Because when Bitcoin clears 112,000, the news headlines will come in flying. Every normie investor will rush in at 130K, at 150K, trying to chase. And you'll be ready, positioned, already holding, already winning. Don't focus on what you missed. Focus on what's right here in front of you. Right now, you have the opportunity to stack and accumulate sats under $110,000 per coin. You have the chance to build your position while it's still quiet, while it's still early, while most people are still doubting the opportunity as it's fading away. The window is closing, but you're still on the right side of the fence, correct? If you move now, open up your wallet, load up your exchange, and start stacking sats like it's your ticket to freedom, because it actually is. Stack daily, stack weekly, stack when it's boring, stack when it's crazy, stack while others are scared, because soon this market won't be a playground anymore. It'll be a battlefield, and only the prepared will thrive. Stay sharp, stay motivated, and stack them sats, baby.